Hey everyone, welcome to the channel of The Plumbing Gurus. My name's Clayton. On this channel, we're striving to save you money and keep you informed on all the proper plumbing practices. On this video, we're going to be going through some plumbing that we did. It's in a hair salon. This one was a little bit unique in the ways they had everything drywall, the flooring was done, vents weren't tied in, water lines weren't ran. So this job was a little bit tricky for us to plan out. Obviously, we just don't want to go in there and just start ripping all the drywall out. We want to keep the mess and the work to the drywall damage to a minimum. So this one was quite interesting. So come on in and let's go take a look at some of the work we did. We're gonna start here in the bathroom. We had to break out this concrete. Now this is a commercial building. So they had steel in the concrete, steel mesh. So if you've had any experience jackhammering steel mesh out of concrete, you know how much fun it is. Like a standard concrete like this probably would have taken us about an hour to do. In this case, it took Karsten closer to 2.5, 3 hours just to break and remove all the concrete out of here. So what we have here is we have a toilet here. So this, we cut the old cast iron flange and piping off, and we MJ'd to ABS 4-inch up. And we just set the flange flush with concrete. So now these guys can do their concrete, and the flange is good set with the proper height right there. As you can see, we'll just go through this water line quick. We just ran this water line because we didn't want to cut open this wall for them. As you can see, all the walls are primed and painted and everything. Drywall was done before we were even in here. So we just ran this water line up, and they're just gonna have a little box in that corner over there where everything will be nice and hidden. So with a little access panel for that clean out. So what they had here is they had a 4-inch piece of pipe come up here, and there was a clean out here. So I dug back a couple feet. I cut that cast iron. I had to cut it twice. My blade from the vibration cracked the cast, so I had to do 2 cuts on it, actually 3 cuts on it. Anyway, so we MJ'd on there. We ran up with a 45, and we just continued this way. They did not have a floor drain in here, so we had to install a new floor drain. Now, everybody does their floor drains a little differently. If you're doing your floor drain in ABS, sometimes it's a lot easier just to put an MJ on there, because from the grade of this pipe coming up, you'll find that this pipe will be coming up at somewhat of an angle, so this floor grate here will be unlevel. So we just use that Fernco there to level the top of the grate of the floor drain. So it's a nice, neat little trick to do if you're having problems with that.
That's right. And also quickly, I don't know if you're going to mention it, but the minimum, the reason it goes out like that, the minimum trap arm for the P-chop is 18 inches. So
18 inches from this Y over. So this distance has to be minimum 18 inches.
That's right.
Yeah. So we ran, thanks Karsten, so we ran the 4-inch all the way up. We carried the 4-inch up here. We put a clean out there, and we already put the access panel, so it's ready for the guys to do their concrete work, which will probably be us, just because we're pretty picky on how we do things. So we want to make sure that, that
stays nice and level.
Access cover's nice and level, nice and flat. We try to make all of our work the best that we can. So, and then we ran, off of here, we ran a 4x2 Y, and this Y I'll show you, that's picking up 3 sinks just down on the other room here, and I'll show you that later. And on here, the reason why we didn't tie into this 2-inch here is you cannot have more than, 6 fixture units? On a
3
fixture units to wet vent.
2-inch wet vent.
2-inch wet vent, yeah.
And so, that 2-inch wet vent is wet venting the toilet that's in here.
That's the toilet area, yeah, exactly. So we weren't able to run those sinks into this drain to wet vent the toilet.
That's right.
And we just MJ'd, they're called Ferncos. So we had the Fernco onto there, and just connected that, and just put our ABS in here. And this is a handicap sink. That's why the water lines are so spread apart, so that we can put our P-trap up. It's gonna come up this way. So we have a lot of room here to work with in case. This vent up here was not tied in. I don't know if you can see up there. That wasn't tied in, so we had to go through the roof, drill a new hole, and tie that vent tie that vent in because it was
right.
not tied in. So these are all surprises that you run into when you have jobs like this. You never want to assume that it's just done properly. Always go the next step, check to see what's done, and go accordingly there to fix it and to bring it up to code.
Absolutely.
And it's also good for your own, you feel good about the job. You've done the job properly. You've taken the time to, find any mistakes or things that have been missed and fix them all. So, especially when everything's covered in drywall, you won't know you have a problem until you'll get sewer gas smell coming up, and then by then you gotta cut drywall and it's a huge mess, and there's tenants already moved in and they've got clients in here already, so etc. etc. It's nice to avoid that situation. So here, they just had a single sink here. And again, this vent was just ran up the wall and it was just stubbed out there. This was all drywall.
It was in cast iron too. We cut all that drywall out, ripped out the cast iron and redid it in ABS.
Yeah, so we actually had to cut the drywall and find out that that's where the vent was. That's where it didn't extend up through the roof. And we tied in a new roof increaser. That goes to 3-inch up above there, so.
Yep.
And so here this is pretty basic. We just came up with a Furco clean out and then a T over that's going to pick up the laundry. You're allowed 135 degrees on your trap arm and you're allowed 8 feet on your 2-inch. So you know that this drain here for the laundry is all good to go.
So yeah, this is the 2-inch that he's talking about. You got 190 there, less than 8 feet for the trap arm. Mm-hmm. And then the bottom of the laundry box needs to be, for us, it's 34 inches, and then also a 24-inch standpipe. Are the
minimum.
2 rules we need to follow.
Yeah. And then here we have 130, we have 90, so that is 180 degrees on our change of direction on our trap arm. So we had to put a clean out there on this 90 coming out of here. So if there's an issue, we can clean it out no problem. Let's move on to the next. So let's go over to this side first. So you guys kind of have an idea. So here we're putting a sink here. They originally were going to have it here. They changed it to here, and they changed it back over here. So on the other side, I made sure that my trap arm distance can go to center here of the sink. So we're good to go either way they want to do it.
Which is 6 feet.
Which is 6 feet. We can do either side. And in here I just have the trap arm hooked out with some water lines. On this side here, they're gonna have 2 hair sinks. One here, obviously, and one here. And yeah, just so you have an idea, and then we'll go to the back and I'll show you all the cool stuff that I did back there. So we'll start with this side here. This is gonna be a staff room in here. So they're gonna have a kitchen sink, dishwasher, probably some counter space. And I'll go through with the water lines after, how we ran the water lines. We'll just focus on the drainage right now. So we ran that 2-inch drain, runs from over there, and we just carried it on. I assume they're gonna build a box or something to cover this. They didn't wanna jack open the floor here, just because, one, the extent of the work, and two, to save money to do this. And we didn't want to go inside of this wall because this is a party wall, so we wanted to keep this sealed. So this runs over, it 90s over there. This comes up, picks up those 2 sinks, clean outs on top. This vent is run straight up, which I tied into the attic there, you can see. Then that 2-inch drain runs over, carries over. I put a clean out at the very end. This clean out is going to be able to clean out this whole line all the way over back to where that other clean out is in the bathroom. This comes up. Nothing is wet venting here. Everything is individually vented here. So this is just individually venting that sink there that runs over. So the distance from here to the other side of that cabinet is less than 6 feet. So we can run that trap arm over there like I was saying before. And yeah, so then this just comes over. We use the double TY to pick up both sinks. 2-inch drop down. Everything's nice, neat, clean. We try to keep it as straight, level, and to make it look good as possible. And also it's a lot easier when you're doing your plumbing if you keep everything square and square, level, straight. It's just a lot easier to work with. You're going up, down, over. You're dealing with 45-degree angles, 90-degree angles. Everything's a lot more easy. So water lines. Let's go. We'll start over here. We'll start with water lines.
Oh, I got the key.
Look at this. Beautiful day. Beautiful day, September. Calgary. Or this is High River.
High River.
High River, just outside of Calgary.
Alberta.
Alberta. So excuse the mess. This is not how we operate,
Electricians.
as you can see. But so up at the very top there, where that white PEX is, that's where we tied in. And we ran the PEX lines over through this mechanical room into the laundry room, which we'll go back to the laundry room and I'll show you where that is. Close this door. So we ran 3/4 water lines, which would be enough for everything that's going on here. So we just ran 2 3/4 lines down here. We always run 3/4. If we're feeding 2 sinks, we'll go 3/4 to half. That just keeps the proper volume. More for volume. And we just ran our water lines over. This took a lot of planning, figuring out where to run these water lines without destroying a bunch of drywall. So we found a beam which we could run the water lines up and over and through. A job like this comes down to planning. You have to plan. Always plan ahead. You run into an issue, always plan. Don't just start doing something, plan ahead. Figure out what you're working with.
So you're not doing it twice.
You're not doing it twice. And also, when you have a job that you've planned and the owner comes in and looks at the job, night and day difference. You can tell if you planned it or not planned it, right? We don't have any holes that we've just randomly cut open for plumbing, looking for plumbing spots or whatever. Everything's nice and neat and clean, properly planned.
One little thing that I did here is this drywall right there. I cut exactly at 4 feet so that when they come in here with a sheet of drywall, they don't have to cut it.
Full sheet.
Yeah, they can just slap a sheet in there. Four
little
foot.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah, little details. Love it. So that's that beam I was telling you about. So it's drywalled on this side. So we cut a hole on the very end. We fed those lines over. We were able to strap them. I just used zip ties with screw holes in them. And I ran them both down nice and neat. I hope they build a little box or something to cover these water lines because it'd just be looking a lot neater.
Ideally, they build a wall on the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
I think that's what they're planning to do is build a whole wall.
Oh yeah. See
Just
that?
another pony wall there.
Yeah.
Well, not pony, the whole wall all the way up, but.
Right. Yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
So we've got the lines that run over, and as you can see, we keep 3/4 to the very last 2 sinks. So we just got 3/4 half, or 3/4 half for hot and cold, and at the very end it goes 3/4 half, and the half speed.
And because it's steel studs, we use those plastic grommets.
Those
too.
plastic grommets between here, as you can see, it protects the water lines because you are going to get movement in these water lines when the sinks turn on and off. So you want to make sure that you're not rubbing against steel because over time that steel could possibly puncture the water line. So, and then over here, I already explained the toilet, and the reason why we did that is because we didn't want to have to cut open this drywall. Less drywall, we have to cut open the better. And over here, this was a little tricky to do here, but we managed to get it figured out. Just brought them up 3/4 inch, ran a 3/4 half to the toilet that runs under the ground. And again, we just ran 3/4 to the 2 sinks, and then we went 3/4 half to feed the last 2 sinks. And these water lines feed the staff room sinks on the other side. And that is it. Carson, you got anything to add?
I think you killed it, bud.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you got any questions about anything that we've done in this video, don't hesitate, leave a comment. We'll make sure that we get back to you, or you can check us out on our Facebook group at The Plumbing Gurus. And I think that's it. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Take care.